Hi everybody, welcome back to the Positive Prepper. I'm again filming from the woods because it's just such a beautiful day out and everything is starting to green up. I don't know if you can see that. I live in Wisconsin, so it takes a while, but anyways, hope you guys are all doing great. Thanks for tuning back in. Today I want to talk to you about kids. Kids growing up in, basically growing up as prepper kids. My daughter obviously has grown up with it. She knows, what we do and why we do it. And she has gotten really good at seeing things from that prepper standpoint. It's just kind of just become that way of life for her as well. So there's a few things that if you have children and you are prepping, especially if you are new to prepping, most people, if you've been prepping for a while, you've already either started to or have already taught your kids some of the prepper skills that they should probably have. So I'm just going to real quick cover some things that, especially if you're new to prepping, these are some things that you should try to teach your kids in the course of your prepping lifestyle. So the first thing is resilience. An SHTF event can be very traumatic, depending on what it is. Actually, I can't think of one that wouldn't be traumatic. Even things like a hurricane or a tornado, if it affects you directly, can be very traumatic. And teaching kids resilience, building that strength in them to come back from, to healthily come back from an event like that is a really important thing. The next thing, and these aren't in any like top 10, order or anything like that. They're just things that I think that kids should really learn about and just have that knowledge. The next one is self-defense. They need to learn how to defend themselves. In the world that we're living in right now, there are very few safe places left for children, unfortunately. When I was growing up, we could take our bikes down the block. We could all hang out at the park. We could go over to a friend's house. You could leave when the sun came up and you had to be back when the street lights came on, right? Or it got dark because I lived in the country. But it's not that safe for kids anymore. So teaching them some self-defense is going to be really good, whether it's, karate or, I don't know. I don't know all the names of that kind of stuff, but just teach them self-defense. Teach them how to get away, where to go for safety, what to do in that kind of a situation. Could end up being very important and could end up saving their lives. The next one is situational awareness. So if an SHTF event happened, do they know where to go? Do they know what to do? Do they know their directions? Do they know northeast, southwest? And would they be able to get to a pre-planned location in the dark without you guys, without the parents? So teaching that situational awareness, having them, kind of be looking around and scanning things. I know a lot of kids, and this is kind of a sidebar here, but we'll go to watch a show, for example, demolition derbies or whatever. And there will be kids that will absolutely not give a damn that there are other people around them. They will stand up in the way, or they'll push other kids out of their way, or they'll be very disrespectful to the elderly who are, can't stand up to see over their heads. That's not very good situational awareness. If your child has that, they would turn around and go, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean to stand in your way," and they would be polite and move over, right? So teaching that to be aware of their surroundings and to have the actions match what their surroundings are. And that's going to be important, especially in an SHTF. They need to be able to say, "Oh, wait, there's something different here," and be able to recognize that and know what to do when they see that happen. The next one is listening skills. So in an emergency situation, let's say that we've really hit the Mad Max, and I'm just going to throw this out there as an example. But let's say that we hit the Mad Max, and it's really important for everybody in your bunker, in location, to be quiet and to listen and do what they're told by the adults. If a child does not have those listening skills, and if they're not able to be quiet, and if they're not able to listen and do what they're told to, that could put people in a lot of danger. Now, I know that sounds super harsh. Kids are kids, right? I have one at home. I have others that are not in the home, so I'm well aware kids are kids. Absolutely they are. But they can start to be taught that in these important situations, it's like at a funeral. You don't go to a funeral and run up and down the aisles of the church and act out at a funeral. You just don't do that. And the same thing is true in an SHTF. They have to know when it is appropriate and safe to, I guess just be that normal kid. But it may require that they have to sit and be quiet so that you are like listening to what's going on outside, or because you don't want whoever to know where they are. It's just a super important thing. I'm just trying to be real with you guys. Some of these things are going to be harder for some kids to adjust to. Kids with ADHD, kids with autism. Absolutely, I understand these medical conditions that would make it really, really difficult. But like I say in almost every video, do what's right for you. Teach your kids the way that you can teach them, and put them in a place where you know that they would be able to handle it, because you don't want to put them outside of their own capabilities, right? So the next one is basically self-reliance. Can they cook a meal for themselves? So SHTF happens, and you're at work and you're not going to be able to get home right away, and it may take you a day. Can they cook for themselves? Do they know where the flashlights are? Do they know how to turn on the CB radio or the walkie-talkies? Do they know how to use your communication devices? Do they know how to listen to the weather radio, and what does that buzzing sound mean, or that alarm mean, right? Teaching them that self-reliance so that if something happens, they know what it is and they know what to do in that situation, and they can provide for themselves for that short term until someone is able to get to them, is really important. Basic first aid, super important. Can they do CPR? My daughter just took the babysitting classes, and they teach infant and toddler CPR. So she has the basics down. She also knows how to use a bleed stop. She knows how to apply a tourniquet. She knows how to dress and clean and dress a wound. Teach them that basic first aid stuff. Along with that, teach them basic survival skills. Now, we don't want kids knowing how to start fires in the middle of the living room, right? We don't want that. But if you have to bug out, do they know how to start a fire, a campfire? If you had to bug out of your home, would they know how to do that? Would they know how to build a shelter if you didn't have a tent or, some form of shelter? Would they know how to build just a basic one out of woods? And then again, knowing the directions, north, south, east, west. Well, our house is, this direction from the lake, or our house is this direction from the school. Do they know how to read a compass, right? All of these things are things that you can make these things fun to help them learn these skills. And so the next two are basically responsibility and compassion. We all want our kids to learn responsibility and the value of being honest and having integrity, right? Because in an SHTF event, especially if it's like the Mad Max style, as we say, everybody is going to have a responsibility, a chore, a job. They're going to have something that they are going to have to do. So you want to teach your kids that responsibility to say, okay, you know what you need to be doing. And if you are busy doing all of the other stuff, you don't want to have to take the time to say, hey, you're supposed to be doing this, right? And again, I get it. They're kids. My daughter, she's like me. Karma. I was really bad at keeping my room cleaned when I was young, and I am trying to instill that responsibility in my daughter that, if we have to come and rescue you in a house fire, I don't want to be tripping over all your toys trying to get to the bed, right? It's your responsibility to keep that clean. On the other hand, she's very responsible. She'll take our 5-year-old cousin's little one, and she will walk with him, she will guide him, she will protect him. She's very responsible in that way. So, work with your kids on that. Don't give up on that, and keep, I guess, preaching that same message about the importance of responsibility. And then compassion, the value of charity, the value of human life, and helping other people in need. We know that, and my daughter is well aware, that when an SHTF event happens, our property will be opened up to people in need. If they need shelter, if they need food, whatever, that's what we're planning for. It isn't just for us, but it's for anybody that, depending on the situation, would need that shelter and that safe place to go. That's what we're building up for. It's having that compassion for your neighbors, compassion for your loved ones, even having compassion for the people that you don't know. Love thy neighbor as thyself, right? So helping to take care of the people that we can take care of is going to be really super important. And then the last two things, well, we talked about the one already, learning, how to shoot a gun safely, knowing which caliber goes in which boomstick, just your basic gun safety. If you've grown up, especially in my area, there's not many kids that have not grown up without guns and grown up around them. So for us, it's kind of just the way of life. But if you're new to prepping and you're new to the idea of self-defense or home defense, don't let that scare you. It's as important for children to learn it as it is for you to learn it. Okay? And then the last one is give them opportunities to to use ingenuity, finding alternative ways to do things. So for example, in an SHTF and the power grid's down, you're not going to be able to just turn on the washing machine and wash your clothes, right? So give them the opportunity to figure out an alternative way to do that that doesn't require electricity. For example, using a 5-gallon bucket filled with water and detergent and a plunger like you would use in the toilet or the sink, right? You can plunge the clothes, or using a washboard, but give them opportunities, right? So, oh my gosh, if the power was out, how do you think that I could cook this pizza? What would be some ways that I could do that? Give them those opportunities. Give them opportunities to practice their first aid. Give them opportunities to be around defensive tools. Give them an opportunity to go out and cut some wood and make a fort, right? Number one, if you can be outside, it gets them away from their electronics. If you keep them engaged, that keeps them engaged. Give them the opportunities to work on all of this stuff and make it fun. Oh, let's see who can build the first fort, right? Or who can come up with the best way to, I don't know, cut firewood, without a chainsaw. What would be the quickest way? Just give them the opportunity, make it fun, make it part of your prepping way of life. Remember, we talked about that. And I think you'll see that the kids can really get into it. And I think you'll also see how brilliant they are when they're given the opportunity. So thanks for watching The Positive Prepper. I hope this video helps you engage your kids. Please hit that subscribe and like button and hit the notification bell. God bless.